Coming up today on your 5 News at noon, the trial in the death of Ahmaud Arbery takes a surprising turn. What the man who shot Arbery had to say when he took the witness stand. And thanks to your generosity, thousands of families will enjoy a holiday dinner this Thanksgiving. Ahead, how local food banks are getting those meals out to those in need. But first, we are following some breaking news in the scheduled execution of Julius Jones in Oklahoma. Welcome to your 5 News at noon. I'm Jo Ellison. Attorneys for the death row inmate have filed an emergency injunction with the federal court. Now, this new injunction was filed based on new evidence from the execution of John Marion Grant, who was executed earlier this month. Jones is set to be put to death at 4 p.m. for the murder of Paul Howell back in 1999. The state parole board voted earlier this month to recommend Governor Stitt commute Jones's sentence because of concerns about witness testimony. Yesterday, students across Oklahoma City staged a walkout to raise awareness about the situation. Today, the National Guard is on standby for any unrest. And Arkansas is mourning the loss of a law enforcement officer today. Independence County Patrol Deputy Frank Ramirez died early this morning after being involved in a car accident while on duty. The department shared the news on its Facebook page, saying, quote, "This is a time of tremendous grief for our agency, his family, and our communities. Pray for Ramirez's family, blood and blue, our community, and our department." Well, that same board voted to recommend clemency for another inmate, Bigler Stouffer II. The board is recommending the governor commute the 79-year-old sentence to life in prison due to concerns about execution protocol in Oklahoma. They specifically mentioned the recent execution of John Grant, who we mentioned earlier and had complications after a sedative was administered. And there was a surprise development yesterday in the Ahmaud Arbery murder trial. The defense called Travis Mcmichael to the stand as its first witness. Now, he's the man who shot Arbery in February 2020. Mcmichael testified that his father told him to grab his gun before chasing Arbery through the neighborhood in what they claim was an effort to make a citizen's arrest. Under a now repealed Georgia law, Mcmichael said he and his father believed Arbery was a burglar after he had been seen at the construction site of an unfinished home. Cell phone video shows Mcmichael confronted the unarmed Arbery after a prolonged chase. Prosecutors argued there's no evidence justifying the chase or a deadly encounter, and that there was never an attempt to make a citizen's arrest. The homeowner, Larry English, said Arbery never stole anything and that he never asked the Mcmichaels to take action. Prosecutors pushed Mcmichael after he testified about the law enforcement training he received in the Coast Guard.
You learned as part of your time in the military that you can't force people to speak with you.
That's correct.
You have to let them walk away.
Yes.
The prosecution will continue its cross-examination of Mcmichael today. The judge is expected to decide soon whether he'll allow evidence that alleges that Travis Mcmichael used a racial slur after shooting Arbery. And closer to home, Josh Diggar is back in court today for a pretrial hearing. He pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of downloading and possessing child porn. Leading up to this, the prosecution asked the judge to keep Diggar's defense from saying or implying that someone else used the computer submitted for evidence, but that request was denied. The defense also asked to not allow an investigator to say the explicit video on Diggar's alleged computer is the top 5 worst he's ever examined. That was granted. The judge also granted a request that Diggar's alleged adult porn addiction not be brought up in trial. The actual trial itself is set for November 30th. All right, let's step outside in the River Valley. Here's a live look in Pensacola from the Choctaw Casino. It's a bit cold out there today, Tyler.
Yeah, Joe, it's a little chilly, but at least we got those blue skies and that sunshine going, which is making things feel a little bit more comfortable, and at least warming our temperatures up a little bit for this afternoon. We're now getting into the 50s. You can see right around 50 in Bentonville and in Fayetteville, middle 50s right now in Fort Smith at 56. 56 also right now in Clarksville with that sunshine helping our temperatures climb up a couple degrees into this afternoon. There is still a little bit of a breeze out there. It's not overly strong, but it is out the north right around 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's still pulling in some of those colder temperatures off to the north, but it's also clearing our skies out behind that cold front. So we're going to see plenty of sunshine for the rest of the day. Temperatures will remain in the 50s, a lot of lower 50s across northwest Arkansas, middle to upper 50s for highs across the river valley, and we'll keep that sunshine going. Now, we do have a partial lunar eclipse heading our way later on tonight. I'm going to break down the details on what this is and what it means for some of us stargazers by tomorrow morning. Joe?
All right, thanks so much, Tyler. Planned Parenthood Great Plains is announcing plans to begin performing chemical abortions at its new facility in Rogers by sometime early spring. The abortion pill, also known as RU-486, has been widely used in the U.S. for years and is FDA approved as a method of medical abortion for women up to 7 weeks pregnant. And it is important to note that doctors say the abortion pill is not the same thing as the morning after pill. Meanwhile, the Family Council president says pro-life groups will continue working to end abortion in Arkansas. And they issued a statement saying, in part, we are fully committed to ending abortion in our state and giving women with unplanned pregnancies the resources they need to choose an option besides abortion. Well, how and where players can bet in the natural state could soon be changing. The Arkansas Racing Commission is meeting today to discuss a possible rule to change and allow mobile sports betting in the state. Right now, to place a sports wager in Arkansas, you are legally required to do so in person at one of the state's casinos. The commission is discussing changing that, allowing for that mobile betting. And more Americans may soon be eligible to get COVID vaccine booster shots. And the Biden administration announced it has purchased 10 million courses of Pfizer's experimental COVID antiviral drug. Anthony Purra has the latest.
FDA authorization for a Pfizer booster shot for all adults could come at any time. The drug maker filed for authorization last week. The CDC would still need to sign off on the plan.
CDC will quickly review the safety and effectiveness data and make recommendations as soon as we hear from FDA.
Some states aren't waiting. This morning, Massachusetts became the latest one to approve boosters for anyone over 18.
If you were already vaccinated 6 months or more ago and eligible for a boost, get a boost.
The move comes as breakthrough infections surge across the country. Minnesota is one of the hot spots.
All 13 beds are COVID again. Looks just like it did a year ago, in December.
And while the main focus remains on vaccination, President Biden announced his administration has purchased 10 million courses of Pfizer's antiviral COVID-19 pill, Paxlovid, to reduce the risk of severe illness for people infected with COVID. The drug still needs FDA authorization. Anthony Purra, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, taking a look at the COVID numbers here in Arkansas, 828 new cases were reported in the last day. Active cases, those are up by 329. 3 more deaths were reported, and 24 more were hospitalized with the virus statewide. 68 COVID patients are on ventilators. All right, let's take a look at where Arkansas's vaccine rollout stands at right now. We're one of a handful of states with less than half the population immunized. A little more than 1.4 million Arkansans are considered fully vaccinated. That's 48.8% of the state's population. Of those people fully vaxxed, 251,000 Arkansans have also gotten boosters. That's 17% of the state's population. All right, well, we want to thank all of you who donated to our Give Where You Live campaign. Because of your donations, more people will get that all-important Thanksgiving turkey just in time for next week. Representatives with the NWA Food Bank say the pandemic has created a huge strain in our area, and this emphasizes why your donations are so important. Now, Give Where You Live is providing 80,000 pounds of turkeys $40,000 going to the NWA Food Bank, and another $40,000 going to the River Valley Regional Food Bank. Now, as many as 5,000 turkeys are estimated to be on those trucks, meaning thousands of families can enjoy a turkey for the holiday. The trucks arrived this morning after receiving the turkeys. Both food banks counted their inventory. They'll now be working with their community partners to get the turkeys distributed to people who need them. Well, the Waldron Police Department is asking for donations for its Shop with a Cop event. All donations will go towards helping local children have a memorable holiday experience. You can drop off donations at the Waldron City Hall or the Waldron Police Department headquarters. All right, still to come right here on your 5 News at Noon. You may have had green beer for St. Patrick's Day, but now you can go green by drinking beer. How one brewer is cutting their greenhouse gas emissions up next.
And we got some colder temperatures out there this afternoon with highs in the 50s, but that sunshine will continue for the rest of the day. I'll break down what you can expect for your Friday and into the weekend in your full forecast after this.